Okay, so no, we're skipping from subject to subject.
Okay.
What part of town did you grow up in?
When I was first born, we stayed off of Bankhead Highway.
Oh yeah, St. James.
I remember that house very, very vaguely. So I guess that would actually be my first memory. But truth be told, I can't tell you. I do remember the house because when I seen it as an adult, I remember seeing that house. But I also think that some of the stories that you guys have told, I've been able to like piece together parts.
Yeah.
But then I remember us. I don't really remember us staying in New Haven. And what's the apartments that's all the way, not New Haven, I called it New Haven, but it was something else for y'all. Over there by Plaster Road.
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of it.
Yeah, but like from my understanding, like we lived over there when I was a little. Yeah, but for the most part, growing up, up until I was 11, we stayed off of Shallowford Road, at the Shallowford Lodge, Buford Highway, the Buford Lodge, the terraces on Buford Highway, and then the last apartment I remember living over there was off of Beverly Hills Street, which was, it's like these 3 little buildings. And we stayed over there. And then at 11, we stayed in the Shallowford Lodge, and that's where Nick was killed. And then after that...
How old were you when Nick got killed?
I was 11. I had just turned 11.
How old was he?
He would have, if I was 11, it means he was 7.
And
he was actually 6, about to be 7.
Okay. So I want to pry, but do you mind telling us about that experience from going one day to being with your little brother and the next day being wherever you were?
So Nick was the one I was around the most as a kid, with us being only 4 years apart. And then plus y'all had already kind of like, with me and Nick having the same mom and dad, we got to stay in the house, and y'all all had different mom or different dad. So y'all would come kind of in and out. But me and him, we had 2 friends across the street, Christina and Kevin. And we had been friends with them since we lived on Beverly Hills. Yeah. And truth be told, like their mom, I know she knew what was going on across the street with us. And so she let us, like this lady, she had her own issues with her own husband at the time, and she fed 2 extra kids. Yeah. All the time. She did so much stuff with us. And we stayed, right across the street. In them apartments we used to stay across the street from Shallowford Lodge.
I
don't even remember what it was ever called.
I know what you're talking about.
But the apartments on Shallowford Road.
Yeah.
But
Shallowford Point. No, I don't know.
No, I don't either. But it's right across the street. But she stayed all the way at the bottom, all the way at the end by the access road. And me and Nick would go over there every single day. So it was nothing for us to cross the street. Nothing. Yeah. And on that particular day.
Oh, y'all was staying where?
Shallowford Lodge.
Okay, so right now, that's the St. Pius parking lot. And then you would cross the street over to, that's a 4-lane street. Okay, go ahead.
And this day was, the next day was going to be the last day before Christmas holiday. And this particular day, I didn't want to go across the street. I was tired. I was sleepy. And I told Nick, I was like, I just want to take a nap. So apparently when I went to sleep, he went up to the front and begged Daddy, like, please let me go across the street to see Kevin. I just want to go play with Kevin. And so the new rule was we had to be home before 6 because with it being wintertime, the street lights, it would get dark early. And so Daddy told him, like, you got to be home at 6. I woke up to, it used to be this lady that used to stay with us sometimes named Kathy. I woke up to her screaming, and I'm like, what's going on? And I wake up and I look out in the front and I see like ambulance people and like police officers. And she like looks at me and she was like, your brother's been hit by a car. And I was like, what? And so I hurry up, and I don't know if you remember how the Shallowford Lodge was made. Before they closed it up, the 2 buildings had a gap, and you used to be able to walk out from the gap straight onto Shallowford Road. Well, after a while they actually closed that up, but at this point it was still open. And I remember I went to the gap and I seen Greg and Glenn hugging each other. I'd never seen 2 grown men crying. And Beverly was in the back of a police car with Calvin in the car seat, and he's screaming at the top of his lungs. And I'm kind of like just looking over everything and like trying to assess everything, because there's so many ambulances and fire trucks and tow trucks and it was just so much going on. So I was like, well, let me go call my mom. And so there was a payphone.
Hold on, where was she at?
She was at work.
Okay. What was Daddy at?
Daddy was in the house.
Okay.
And so I picked up the phone. I was calling her. And as soon as she answered the phone, this lady snatched the payphone out my hand and said, you need to hurry up and get here. They just put your son in a body bag. So that's how my mama found out that her son had been killed.
Wow. Who was the lady?
I don't know. That's one thing I blocked out. I can't tell you, but I know like we had stayed over there for years. So them people knew us. Yeah. But that's how, and so my mom told me, she said she like couldn't believe it. And she jumps in a cab and you have to have her tell you the story, but the cab ride, she was like, she knew it. She knew it. She felt it. She felt that that Nick was gone. And so what happened, from what I've been told, they needed Daddy to identify Nick. And Greg tried to. And they kept telling Greg that this can't be your brother because this is a little brown-skinned kid.
Yeah.
And he was like, please let me do it. Don't make him his father do it. And so, but they said they needed him to do it. So Daddy had to come out there and identify Nick. And I didn't find out until recently, until like the last like 10 years, because I think I just, shout out to Doretha. She had some mixed emotions in my life, but she's the reason why, like, I remember at the Nick's funeral, I tried to go, like, see what he looked like say my goodbyes.
In the bag?
No, at the funeral.
Yeah.
And she stopped me, and I'm so thankful, because I still remember his little snagger-tooth ass and with his fucked up hairline, because Glenn would shave his head bald and fuck up his whole hairline. And I'm glad that that's the memory I have of him.
Yeah.
Not because he was hit by 3 cars, and the first car, he was killed instantly, but the first car dragged him 100 feet. And so that's why it was a closed casket, because they said it kind of just shaved off his face. And then the second car ran over his feet. So his feet were broke. And then the third car, truth be told, it's been so long, I can't even remember no more. But I just remember for a long time, the car that got away that didn't stop was a Mustang 5.0. So for years, I would look at those cars and be like, I hope the person, whoever did it, I hope they okay. Because I forgive them. And I don't know what it's like to wake up every day knowing that you killed a kid, but it wasn't on purpose. It was on accident. So I forgive that person. And I know I can't say the same for my parents. But I know for me, that has to be something horrible to have to wake up to and live with for the rest of your life. And